Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And something that people may not know about me is I love gardens, right? I love to garden. I love seeing things grow. So that's really what attracted me to this video. We got British versus American garden, and this is from Amanda Ray. Original link will be in the description. Her channel name is Lady Ray. With that being said, what's smoking on my dragons? Divine righteous almighty greats overachieving, never slacking. We flying back over to the United Kingdom. Here we go.
A garden or a yard? What are the differences between the two? Stick around to find out.
I do always hear a lot of UK people say my yard, my yard. Like I hear that all the time. Oh. Okay, hold on. Let me run it back. Because I'm sitting here playing around. Okay.
Hey guys, it's Amanda. I'm an American living in the UK, so I post about my life and experience living here, as well as weekly reactions requested by all of you. Now, I did a little series on the difference between British and American houses, but I never really touched on the outside, so that's what I'm going to talk about today. But what do you think will be the most significant difference between the two? Let me know in the comments. Number 1, the name. So one of the biggest differences is what we actually call it. So here in the UK, it's a garden, and in the US,
Nice.
in the US, we call it a yard.
Okay, so there's something happened with the sound right here? Oh.
Number 2, animal.
Yeah, something might have cut out with the sound right there. But from what I did hear, um, I I hear a lot of UK people say yard, like yard, especially listening to UK raps, like they say my yard a lot. So yeah, and even in America, like I say garden a lot. That's why I say America is so big and just so it's so much to America. Like the culture is so different based on what region you're in, what section you're in, that things just really do differ. It really stating where you're from in America. America's like different countries. You go to Louisiana and you compare that to New York, and you compare that to LA, and you compare that to Chicago, and you compare that to Alabama, and you compare that to Omaha, Nebraska. Like it's just like different countries at that point.
Animals. It's no secret the wildlife varies in each country, and our very own backyard is no exception. In the US, what you'll see vary considerably, again, depending on what part of the country that you live in. Where I lived in Pennsylvania, you would see deer, possums, raccoons, squirrels.
I live in Pennsylvania. See, I'm still newer to Pennsylvania though, so um, I guess people call it yard. Yard, garden. I don't know what's. I hear both, but I'm still a new Pennsylvania type guy. I'm a New Yorker, so.
Squirrels, chipmunks, skunks, birds, loads of stuff.
Very cool.
Now living in the south of England, I've seen birds and squirrels. But I have to admit, we actually started getting blue tits, which are the cutest little birds ever. Then, of course, we got magpies, and they just seem to literally just scare them all away. But there you go. I do love seeing the birds. But again, I do want to say, I know this heavily depends on what part of the UK you're in as well, because I know you can see loads of other different wildlife elsewhere. This is just, again, my experiences. Number 3, fences. I know movies depict all American houses having lovely white picket fences, but in reality, that isn't the case. A lot of yards are completely open, which is the opposite of many gardens I've seen here, which have fencing all around them. But to be honest, I actually prefer having the closed-in space, not only for privacy, but it also feels safer, like especially if you have small kids.
Yeah.
It's like their own little space.
I like that.
But now saying it, I never really thought about it, but I suppose loads of houses here have fences around them because the homes are so close together. And if there wasn't anything like dividing them, it would be like having a massive communal garden, which most people wouldn't want. Number 4, size. Now, I know this won't come as a surprise, but yards in the US are generally bigger than that of the UK. The average in the US is around like 3,300 square meters, and it's about 200 square meters here, which is a huge difference. And yes, I'm fully aware this comes down to the space available, but it's still a difference all the same. However, I will say, with all those massive yards comes hours of upkeep with mowing and trimming. So there are definitely downsides to having all of that space. Trust me, I know. It was one of my chores growing up, and I spent hours mowing the lawn. However, did get a really good tan while I was doing it, so there's that. Number 5, mowers. Now, this one really comes down to the size of the garden, but many Americans have riding lawnmowers. As like I said earlier, it would take hours to use a push mower. But one thing I've never seen before moving here was push mowers that plug in or battery powered. What? Never seen that in my life. I've only ever had ones that were powered by like petrol. Now, while we're talking about mowers, I have to know, what do you call the machine that like trims the edges of the grass and like cuts the weeds? I know some British people call it a strimmer or a trimmer.
Trimmer.
Pretty sure it's a strimmer. But
I've always heard like a trimmer. You know, we just. I actually like that machine. It's pretty cool.
but I've always called it a weed whacker.
Weed whacker.
I don't know. That's what I've always called it. And I think it sounds way cooler. But what do you think? Who says it best? Bast?
Well done!
Who says it best? Is it a weed whacker or a strimmer? Number 6, sprinklers. They're much more common in the US than here, but that's because we get so much rain here in the UK compared to a lot of the states in America. The rain used to drive me absolutely crazy. Well, to be fair, it still does. But I've come to appreciate it because everything is so green. The flowers are beautiful. They fill up the gardens, the parks, alongside the road. It just makes everything beautiful. So I do enjoy the rain now, more than I did before. If you've been watching my other videos, you'll know that I just moved house a few months ago. And one of my favorite parts is the garden. We've planted so many gorgeous plants and flowers. It's just so cozy. So I've been spending loads of time out there, especially with all this amazing, hot, lovely weather that we've been having. Because let's face it, it doesn't last long. I can't think of any other differences at the minute, but if you have any that you would like to add, please put them in the comments. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, smash that like button if that's what you're into, and I'll see you in the next video.
Original link in the description. I guess I've just always been in my own world my whole life because I've always said I've always kind of just used it like garden or yard. Like garden for me is when you really just like see all the flowers and you know when people have that section where it's just flowers. Oh, beautiful garden, but other than that, like it's like the yard. You know, grassy area to me was more like the yard, and when there's just nothing but grass and oh, nice yard or front yard. But the garden is where you see, you know, the flowers or the food getting grown. I don't know. Like it's just like culture is so different. You know, culture is so different. Guys, I actually have some really good news coming as far as being in the UK soon enough, but I ain't gonna speak too soon. We're gonna let time keep flying. But we definitely got a bright future coming when it comes to this channel. Just know that. With that being said, though, what do you guys think? You know, if you've been to America, do you prefer American yards or gardens over British yards or gardens? And what did you feel like was the biggest difference for those that have been in both areas? But with that being said, original link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, definitely go check out Amanda, Lady Ray, and definitely don't hesitate to hit that like, that subscribe, or that notification bell for more. And I'll be back soon. Much love.